Okay, class. So now that we've watched this video 3 times and we've listened for and identified the 4 out of context jokes, great job with that. I want to listen to it one more time and just let it wash over you this time. Don't listen for anything in particular, just try to get the feeling of it. And I wonder if this time if you'll find it funny. Okay, ready? So what do you think? Was it funnier this time? Great. Yeah. That's so great. It's such a big step to be able to find humor in a language that you're learning. So that's a really big deal. Congratulations. Does anyone have any questions about this scene? Okay, let's talk about that. So you had a hard time understanding Gloria. That might be because you don't speak Spanish as your mother tongue. I think that we find when we're learning another language that the people who speak the language natively are the people our own who share the mother tongue with us are the people that we understand better. I find that when I'm speaking Spanish that the people that I understand the best are people who are also native English speakers. Do you find that when you're speaking English? Yeah. Okay. Great. So the reason that is because we're still pronouncing the sounds from our mother tongue in English, or I'm still pronouncing the sounds from English in Spanish. And frankly, that's probably always going to happen. And that's okay. It's actually beautiful. I love hearing somebody speaking English with an accent. And I think actually most native English speakers feel this way. The point, like we were talking about earlier in the pronunciation section, isn't to get rid of your accent completely, it's to be understood. Does that make sense? Okay, great. Do you agree with that? Yeah. Okay, good. So, going back to this video, I wonder if you can relate to Gloria not feeling completely at home in the United States. Even though she's lived here for decades and has a Northern American husband, she might never really feel completely at home. Or maybe it just takes a while for that to happen. What do you think about that? Yeah, yeah, it's hard. So the reason why I bring this up is because on Friday, we're all going to be speaking for 10 minutes on a story about when you felt out of place or when you felt like you didn't quite fit in. There's an expression for this in English. Does anybody know what it is? Like a fish out of water. Thank you, Asia. Exactly. So, fish out of water, for those of you who aren't familiar, means when you feel uncomfortable because you feel out of place. It comes from the idea that a fish breathes the oxygen through the water underwater, and if they're in the air, they can't breathe, right? Well, yeah, whales can, but they're mammals. And a fish is pretty uncomfortable if you take them out of water. Make sense? It's a bit of an exaggeration. Does anybody remember what exaggeration means? Yeah, when you're making something bigger than what it is. Exactly. Anyway, so that's what our talks are going to be about. But don't worry, because tomorrow we're going to be talking about memory and memory techniques, about how to give a presentation or tell a long story. And hopefully, though these techniques will make you feel more comfortable about giving a presentation. Okay? So the techniques are also called mnemonic devices, is a memory technique. But we'll talk more about that tomorrow. Okay, so talking for a long time, sorry about that, guys. Talking for 10 minutes, it can be a really long time. but I really think that you can manage it. And I also think that if you can get comfortable with doing the 10 minutes or something like that, you'll feel a lot more comfortable speaking spontaneously in a real life situation. I think it's something that you can do. I really want you to give it a try, okay? So, to get our juices flowing about our fish out of water stories, let's do a speaking exercise. I broke us up into pairs, which are written up on the board. Please find your partner. I'll wait a second while you get settled. Yes, you can sit on the floor if you like. Okay, so now go back to Gloria from the video that we just watched and think for a second about what it felt like for her to be a fish out of water. Now, A's, you're going to tell your story, your feeling about that, what the video made you think about, what Gloria's fish out of water experience made you think about to your partner B. And B's, listen really closely because you're going to respond to what your partner says and tell them how what they said made you feel, just like in a real conversation. Okay? So we're going to do that and then we'll switch, and B's will start the conversation and A's will respond. The whole exercise is going to take 10 minutes. So I'm going to ring the bell at 5. We'll let the A's start the conversation, then I'll ring the bell at 5 minutes, and then the B's will start the conversation and I'll ring the bell again. Okay? So let's begin. Okay, go ahead and switch. Okay, B's, go ahead and start your conversation. And so B's are asking, Gloria from the video made me think of a time when I felt like a fish out of water, and go ahead and complete that. And A's are going to reply about what the B's said that made what the B's made them feel that from what was said. Okay, great, everyone. Looks like our time is up in class, so let's talk about homework. Okay, so the homework for tonight is going to be to write a draft of your fish out of water story. Remember, there's bonus points assigned if you use a out of context joke. And as I mentioned earlier in the week's objectives that we talked about earlier in class, you will be recording a video of yourself giving your talk and then submitting it through the learning management system on Sunday, okay? So again, after you have the draft that you like of the fish out of water story, you'll record the video of yourself telling the story. We'll be doing these recordings in class on Friday, but it's not due until Sunday. So if you don't like it, the version that you have, you can go ahead and re-record it. And then after you submit your story to the learning management system, then you'll be reviewing 3 of your classmates' videos. Don't worry, it's not like a thumbs up, thumbs down type situation. Instead, there'll be a rubric that you'll be using to grade your peers, and we will talk about that in detail tomorrow. The thing that I want to say is when you're recording your videos, I really want to challenge you to put the script aside and speak naturally. Speak like you're talking to your best friend. And it's something that I think if you can do that, that you'll get more out of the experience. And that's also part of one of the elements on the rubric as well. So, but we'll talk more about that tomorrow. Great job, everyone.